Hi everyone. Just before I go about diving into the subject matter in this video, I'd like to let you all know some great news. The Mr. Carlson's Lab Electronics Forum is now fully launched, and it's only been mentioned here on Patreon with that link in the previous video. So there's over 90 members there now, and I'm still on the fence about actually mentioning this and making it fully public. Yes, MrCarlsonsLab.com is fully public, but I haven't mentioned it in any of my YouTube videos. And I'm kind of on the fence about doing that because it's going to get very busy very fast if I do that. So again, I haven't mentioned it yet. So if you're wanting to sign up to that electronics forum, I would suggest that you do that now. It's very simple to do. Basically, just sign up and you're on. And that way you're in. Reason being is if I announce this on YouTube and I make this just, full out public the way I'm thinking that it may go, I'm going to have to add some added security features at that point. And then anybody from that point on that wants to sign into the forum will have to basically be put into review immediately. So I'm, not going to get basically hit with spam and bots and things like that, right? So right now it's pretty easy to get on there. You just sign up and you can post and you're on. All right, it's heavily moderated, it's watched. I get a message for every single post that's put on there, so everything is watched. But again, if I make this fully public, of course, the signups are just going to go crazy all at once, and then that added security will have to be put on. It's unfortunate that things are like that nowadays, but that's just how things go. But lots of entries. People are showing off their Ultra Probe projects there, and sharing all sorts of other projects, and just using it as a regular forum. It's a great place to be. So definitely check it out. All right, there's the news. Let's get into this project. Here is the process to put artwork on your projects, whether it be electrical or mechanical. This process works very well and it gives you very professional results. Now, there are a couple of things that are very important in the process of doing this to get the best results possible, and I'm going to share all of those little tips and tricks with you, and you can use this going forward, and you might even be able to improve this yourself just by doing some experimentation. Finding this out on my end was just experimentation. A big blank piece of aluminum painted with all sorts of different colors and types of paint and different finishes as well, and just applying different types of stickers and making the edges, well, I guess you could say not completely invisible, but making them blend very, very well. So I'll share all of the paints and the clears and everything with you. They're all rattle cans, so it's very easy to get stuff in, even the actual sticker part, which is very important. So I have a whole bunch of different shipping labels that I fooled around with, and this one here is by far the best. So I'll just back this out a little bit here so you can see all of this. This is by far the best shipping label here. So I'll get you close to the ISBN there. So there it is. It's telling me that it's not in focus. Hopefully it is. Maybe if I zoom into it, it'll be a bit better. There we go. So that is the ISBN number for the labels. And they're a full sheet label. So what I do is, of course, print the layout that you found in the previous video onto one of these sheets, and then that makes one of these particular little layouts here at the bottom, and then that's taken and cut out and put on the box. I talked about cutting them out in the previous video. If you haven't seen the previous video, that leads up to this one here. And again, you can make your own artwork in just, Photoshop or anywhere you like, and just make it match up to whatever you have, and it works very good. So now the paint that I'm using on this, I experimented with a whole bunch of different styles of paint, and this one here makes the actual sticker blend the best. Okay, so this is the stuff right here. So it's called Heritage or Heirloom White. All right, so it's a satin finish. That is very important as well. So basically, when you're going to use these labels on anything that you've painted, you want the finish to be somewhat close to paper. Have just a little bit, I would say just a touch of a gloss. All right, and this is the product here. So let's see if I can get to the number on that one there. So there it is. It's the ISBN right there. It's giving me the red markers for the focus here. I'll just do that. Right about there, looks like it's in focus. So that's for this stuff right here. And it works very, very well. So it's a paint and a primer. And once that's done, so first of all, I'll tell you all the processes that led to this. This is just freshly cleared about a day ago, so I'm still letting this set. That's the reason that I don't have any of the actual controls or switches or anything in here yet, because I want everything to you know, dry up and get, I guess you should say cure would be the word. Because if you tighten anything down on this, you know, there's layers of paint and clear on this, and I don't want to get any kind of ridges around it. So there's about 4 coats of this on this box right here. There's about 4 coats of the paint on this box here. So basically, you know, paint the box, let it sit for about 10 minutes. I usually use a heat gun, right, and gently heat it, and then let it sit for about 10 minutes. Put on another coat, 10 minutes, another coat, and as you do that, the box is actually warming up with a heat gun, because these cast boxes, they conduct heat very well, so the box actually gets warm and it kind of cures up a little faster, at least dry to the touch pretty quick. And yeah, you know, about you know, 4 times, maybe 5 times, however many coats it takes to get a decent finish on this. And then after that, it sits for a couple of days. So in fact, this sat for 4 days after that. I just let it sit for 4 days and let the paint cure up really nice. And then after that, you know, the decal, or decal if you prefer, goes on the box, and then it gets coated with clear. Now here's something that'll scare you. When you put the clear on it, you're going to notice a vast contrasting color between the two, because when the clear gets this wet, it kind of changes color, but as the clear sets, it comes to a very close match. All right, so you get almost, not completely, but almost an invisible sticker. Depending on the way you shine the light on it, you can still see the sticker. There are ways around that. If you don't like to see the borders of the actual label on the top, you can make this longer. You make it almost to the full box, and then cut out the circles here and everything. And I'll tell you how to do all of that here in this video as well. So while I'm thinking of it here, I'll tell you this so I don't leave this out. This is the clear that I'm using. It's a Duplicolor. Great product, and it dries extremely fast, this stuff, but I still let it cure for quite a while. So that is the part number right there. Hopefully there's not too much glare on that. So that's for this part right here. So this is what's over top of this. It's an acrylic lacquer on the top of this. Now here's the thing, when you put the actual label on the box itself, you can leave the label alone and it blends very, very well. The reason that I put clear on this, and I would say that the clear even makes the separation just a little bit more noticeable. All right, so it's actually less noticeable, I guess, without the clear. But the thing is, you want to seal the edges of the sticker, because what's going to happen, because it's an actual sticker, right, it has the adhesive on the back, the edges will attract dirt over time and it'll really make it noticeable. So, you know, if this thing is going to get thrown in your toolbox, like the Super Probe has been in mine, I've used it everywhere. It's been in my toolbox all over the place. You want to clear the box, and that way it'll keep dirt out of the actual paint itself. Remember, this is a satin finish, and you know, it's just a better thing to do. So you're kind of, it's a trade-off, right? A trade-off that you're doing there. So that is that. So that is the paints, the actual paints, and the labels here. So that's done. Now after this is painted, okay, so just the box is painted at this point. So say you put 4 coats of the satin paint on here, okay, so the Heirloom White, you put 4 coats of this on the box. After it's set, again, about, you know, a bunch of days anyways. I just, you know, depending on the humidity and everything in your area and how warm it is. So we'll say after, say, 3-4 days, okay? What you want to do is get some 600 grit sandpaper. I use this just dry. You can wet it if you want, but you know, then you have to wait more time to make sure there's no water on the box, right? So I use 600 grit, and I just very gently go over the face of the box very, very gently. And I mean gentle. Like, I mean almost just dragging the paper over the top just to get rid of any kind of bumps or anything that might be on the actual paint. Because remember, you are putting a sticker on and you want the surface to be about as uniform as possible. After that's done, you can wipe the face off with a paper towel, and then if you have compressed air, just blow it off to make sure that there's no dust. And you want to make sure that you get all of that off. And then the next thing you do after that point is align this to the box. So aligning this to the actual box, I'll see if I can get some light on this too to show you the edge of it. So I'll show you the edge of that. So you can see, just depending on the light and how the light hits it, you can kind of see the edge of the sticker. See that? Right? So just depending on how you look at it. But as you can see, you know, you have to shine the light on it just perfectly in order to actually see that. And if you are worried about this, which I'm absolutely not, because it just looks great itself, you can run the sticker right down to the bottom of the box and almost fill the whole face, and then it's even less noticeable, right? You just see the little rim on the side. But that's the kind of results you get, and it'll stay like that when you put clear on it. So anyways, put this back down here. So after this, of course, is sanded, and as I mentioned that, you know, you're drying it off and blow it off with air. The next thing you want to do is actually put the transfer on the box. Now here's the trick with this. You're probably saying, Paul, how do you get the alignment so good? Well, I've got all the dots here. So all the dots help you align it. So basically you put the dot in the center of all the holes. So you line this up perfectly, all right? And once you have it lined up perfectly, you hold this down with your thumb, just like so. Okay, so since this is already done and it's freshly cleared, I want to be very careful with that. So I'll just grab a scrap piece of metal here to do this on, right? So say I've aligned this up. Let's see if I can zoom this in and show you this process here. So say you've aligned this up and you have all the little holes right directly in the center, all right? So all of those little holes are directly in the center of all these holes, okay? I'll talk about the LEDs and why I put them in as well. These are also cleared on the top. All right, so once that is actually aligned on here, and say, you know, the holes on the box are directly underneath this, you'll see how this has a crease in it. See that crease right there? Well, the manufacturer of this paper was nice enough to do that, and they do this across the entire page. So when you cut this out, you'll be left with a crease somewhere, depending on how they've cut it, on your actual design. And that's all you need to align this. So basically what you do is you've got this thing perfectly aligned, all right? So all of these are perfectly centered. What you do is you bring your finger over here like this, and you lift this up, and then you slowly push this out, like so. Just like that. Look at that, not a single bubble under that piece. And it's perfectly aligned. Now that that's on there, what you do is you just press this down, like so. All right, and then on this side you do the same. Bring it over, so you bend this over, not on a, you know, like a very tight, crazy tight angle, but just push it. You don't get any finger marks, any finger, nothing underneath here. It's just like that. Look at that, not a single bubble. You rub it in. You can hardly even see it on that surface, not a single bubble underneath. And that's how easy it is to put that sticker on. Isn't that slick? That works great. So that's how easy it is to actually put the artwork on any of these boxes. Now, when you've got this on the actual box itself like this, what you want to do is spend some time and actually rub the sticker in. Now, this is done on a laser printer, so this is toner. So you got to be a little bit careful. Don't go scratching it with your fingernail, because you can take the toner off. But if you have a printer that's, you know, pretty decent, like a Brother or say an HP type printer, the toner sticks very well, so well that I can use a tool, an actual tool like this, and I can sit here and go over this stuff, and it doesn't even take it off. Look at that. I can go right over top. I'm scrubbing this right now. And then what you do is you push this down. Now, if you look at this through a magnifier, you'll notice that when this is on the paint, you'll see all sorts of very, very light, like you have to look through it with a magnifying glass, right? But you'll see very, very slight, almost like a grain. And as you rub this and you push it down, it gets rid of that. I guess it's the adhesive on the back, and it pushes into all of the little, I guess you could say all of the little scratches that you've put in there with the 600 grit sandpaper. And what that ends up doing is that holds everything perfect inside here. It holds it, I guess you could say it bonds it very, very tight to the paint. So you're getting rid of basically any type of air. And as you can see the, the actual paint on here. You can see the clear on there and the kind of a pattern that it's left, right? But you don't see any type of bubbling under that at all. Nothing whatsoever. And that's because it was done just like that. So, and you just basically rub it in. And what I did is I even went between the letters, I went in here and rubbed everything in. It took quite a while to do it just to make sure there's absolutely nothing, to get all that adhesive to perfectly set in there. And then I go over the edges of the actual decal, if you like. Here in Canada, it's called decal. I know if you're in the US, it's decal. And that's, we say things, I guess, kind of strange up here. So anyways, I go over the edges here like this. And then I also, rub the edges in like that. You want everything just about as tight to the paint as possible. And that's the kind of a professional result you'll get. Before you put any clear on the box, what you want to do is cut the actual holes in the sticker. It's very easy to do. Just get yourself a hobby knife. You can find these at any, hardware store or hobby store. And what you do is you just poke through the sticker and use the rim of the hole that you've drilled as a guide and just cut around, and you'll get a result just like this. Now, don't worry if you actually cut through this and take some of the paint off. It's not a big deal because remember, there's going to be VRs tightened into this, so all of these holes will be covered. The only two that you have to be really careful with are the two LED holes. And if you do cut through the paint or something like that, and say you can see a little bit of the metal box, a lot of the times when you push the LED through like this, it disguises it. You don't even see it anyways. If it is to the point to where you've really cut a big chunk out, what you can do is get, again, hobbyist paintbrushes, the same type of paintbrush that you use to paint models with. Spray some of this paint on the tip of the brush and then just touch up the area, let that dry. Once that's happened, you push the LEDs through, so you want to make sure that the LEDs are firmly mounted in the box. Once that's done, what you do is you put a little bit of super glue on this side. So these won't actually press all the way through. They go, about halfway through, and they get very tight. But I still use a little bit of super glue just in case you had to, say, drop a screwdriver on this or something. You don't want this to pop out. You want these to stay in the box. Once all of the holes have all been cut and you have the LEDs in and they've been super glued, at that point you can go over this with clear coat and clear coat everything in. So that is the process. So you paint the box first. Once the box is painted and actually dried, you give it that 600 grit sandpaper, just very lightly go over it. You can wipe it down and then blow it off with some compressed air. Make sure that there's no grease or anything on the box. At that point, put your sticker on, and as I showed you, lay it and push it, bring the two edges out like this. So the first thing you do is you press the sticker onto here, hold it steady, move the other side so that the sticker sticks to this side of the box, and the alignment's perfect. It won't move after that. And then, flip the edge over and work it out like so. Once the sticker's on, that's done. Then you do the holes, put the LEDs in, and then after that, the last step is clear. So that's kind of a quick rundown of the entire process. And after that, you're pretty much ready to install once everything is all set. Remember, give it ample time to set between coats and things like that. Don't rush the job. And that way you'll end up with a very nice product. And I hope this helps any of your projects turn out to be very, very nice, just like this. If you use this technique on one of your electronic projects, definitely feel free to share it in the electronics forum. Again, the link will be just below the video's description here on Patreon. Many people have shared their versions of the UltraProbe in the forum, showing the completed device, and they look absolutely fantastic. So great job on all of the different variations of the UltraProbe. Lots of really, really great work being shown there. All right, until next time, take care, everyone. Bye for now.